Well, hello. This is Rosa, rcgkreations. How are you doing? Bringing to you a video on my my review of the scrapbook.com magic mat. Here's the mat. I actually just got it and have used it, but as you can see, the whole intentions of the magic mat is it's supposed to replace your cutting plate. Okay. And it's a little bit warped just now. Just got it warped, but it's not the mat. These are my regular. I have the big Gemini. Look at these mats. Bad shape. Okay, really bad shape. But this little baby is at least 9 or 10 years old, and it's really had its fill. See how it's all warped? See that? And then here are. Where's my other plates? This is my magnetic mat. And let me get these out of the way here. I'm going to show you. Most of my subscribers know I'm very, very frugal. I just been taping it because I don't want to have to replace it, okay? But as you can see, look at that. It's just really falling apart. It's way past the time to replace these two items. But here is the sandwich for the mat. And what I do is I just put a little piece of washi here. That way I know this is what I use to rotate my mats. So, you know, because you always want to rotate all your mats to keep them from warping and bending and all that. So here's your bottom plate, your clear plastic plate. And as you can see, sometimes I messed up and I had a cutting edge on it. You know, we all do it. It's a human mistake, but it happens. And then you do your mat, your magnetic mat, when you're doing dies. Okay, and then you do your cutting mat. So the way it's supposed to work is you lay your die on the magnetic mat with the cut side up. And let me get some paper just to show you, but I'm not really going to do it. I'm just going to show you. Then you lay your paper on top. Okay, and then... Oh, I didn't want to do that because there's something on there I don't want to put on the video. And it's just scrap recycled paper is all this is. Okay, then you put this on top. Then you put your cutting mat. And let's see, which way do I have my... I like to do these. I always, when I rotate this top one, I rotate all. And I do this at least every second or third cut, every time. Okay, so they're all facing the same way. And then make it level, and then you just run it through the machine. But of course, you see how it's so warped out? That's what happened. So what I did is I took this off, because I just got my magic mat, so I wanted to use it, but I kept these two on here. And I didn't realize that when I would put it through, because I was putting some extra shims, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to cut this die, and this die, and this is little bamboo. These are bamboo right here. These are little cattails. Okay. In fact, I'll show you what these are. This one is the bamboo. It's by Spellbinders. It's called Inspire. And then there is the information on it. Let me angle it so you don't get any glare. Okay. And then there is the information on that. And then this one, these are just my little leaves from Spellbinders. And this one's called the leaves. You get 4 little dies in there, but there's that information on that. Then you have the cattails. Yeah, cattails. Another Spellbinder die. Okay, there's that one. I actually have 2. Because the Gemini plates are so big, I always, on these smaller ones, I always like to get 2 or 3, the same one, that way I can get as many cuts, because I'm always doing 3 or 4 cards. Okay, and that saves me on a lot of time. Okay, I dropped something, I want to put it back up. Okay, so that's what this are. So here's your bamboo, and then here's the little inserts for the bamboo, which go with this. Where do these little things go? I don't know. I have no idea. I've been researching, but I can't find it, so I don't know where it goes to. But I always go ahead and cut them out anyway, but I don't really use them. But my main point I wanted to show you is my review of this. So since I warped this, I need to put something else back, because what I warped it because it wasn't cutting, and I'm sure it's because it's all beat up and dead. But I want to, here it is. I'm looking, and I hate to be a scatterbrain here, but I'm looking and I found it. I got too much on my table here. So here is one of the leaves that I did. Here's this big long one. And this is this brand is actually by Cuttlebug. This is who this brand is by. And this is the Cuttlebug brand. Okay. Does it have a name on here? No, it doesn't. But there's the item information for those who want to see that. And then there's a picture of all the dies. Okay. So that's this one. That's the big dies. This one is just a no-name brand. And I don't have a name for it. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you where I got it, how old it is. I have no idea. Okay. So this is a no-name brand. So I was putting all these. These are just some extra ones I'm not using. And I was cutting, so I laid them to save on, because I'm being frugal. I laid all my dies on here because I knew I could lay one entire 8.5 by 11 sheet. But as you can see, look, they did not all cut through. Some of this did cut through, but some of it did not. Okay. And the same thing with this. This is the cattail one. And then here's that one I really liked, but it didn't cut through. But then also, I did this in 3 layers. Thinking for sure my Gemini would cut all through, but it didn't. Now, of course, it did on the big ones and these other leaves, but it didn't do it on these smaller ones. So now, if I want to save my cardstock, I need to go back, line it back up, and redo it again, which I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to waste my time doing it. I'm just going to chalk this up as a loss. And here's another one that it didn't go through. And they're going to go in the garbage. And here's another one. Now this big leaf one did go through, so I'm going to save that one. Because for some reason that one did go through. See there, isn't that pretty? You see the little border edge where it embossed on there? And that is the big leaf. But this is the one I really wanted. Okay. But see how pretty, see how I embossed it? See that? See how it embossed on there? And it was supposed to cut, but it didn't. I've already got some that I did here. And here's one. I did this in a tan color cardstock. And you see that? It worked. And it cut it out perfectly. It didn't emboss as much, but I also didn't use my embossing plate because I didn't want to emboss it so much. I wanted to cut it. Okay. So my point to you in this video is strictly my review. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Those are those other dies. But see the embossing on it? Those turned out good. What is my impression? I'm going to cut these 2 out right here, but I'm going to save the rest. We already saw what this does. Doesn't work that great. And it also leaves a crinkle impression on the paper too. So now I'm going to just take this off. Don't eat the paper. And this is going to go in the garbage. Goodbye. This is going in the garbage. Goodbye. And I'm going to use my brand new plates. This is just my embossing mat for the Cuttlebug. So I just keep all my plates together for me. So I'm going to take this apart, then I'll bring you back, and I'll show you what the next phase is. Okay, I'm back, and here is my sandwich. I got brand new plates. These are still the same original one, because there's nothing wrong with this one. And this is still the same clear plastic one, because there's nothing wrong with that one. Now, this is the brand new metal shim. Excuse me, not metal, magnet. This is the magnet shim. Okay, and then there's my die. Whoops. I'm doing this double layer because I'm frugal. I want to do this on one pass. There's all my dies, die cut facing up. The cut side of the die facing up. Excuse me, sorry about that. And I just had some tape in there because I was thinking maybe the tape was moving. That's what was wrong, but I don't really think so. So, you know, we're gonna test this out. And we're gonna see. Was it just really the fact that the mats were just too old and too beat up, and that's what was causing the problem? I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and do this first pass with just the magic mat. Nothing else. But I think I'm going to need some shims. But you know what? We're just going to wait and see. And we'll see what happens. And I'm sure this will eventually even flat itself out. Let's go take a look. And you'll be able to hear the machine. Do you hear that? That's the Gemini going through. The plates are going through. Okay, and here comes the reveal. Let me get this out of the way. Okay, so here's the mat, magic mat. Okay, and you can see where it has been cutting on it. But this is a self-healing mat. And look, you can see, it definitely cut the big ones through 2 layers, but it didn't do the smaller ones. So that means I'm not going to move this because I don't want to move this. I want the dies to be exactly where they are, but I am going to move this top layer of the plastic with the magnet. And I'm going to add, oh, not here, I'm sorry. This is going to stay here. Don't forget, always check whichever tool you're using, your sandwich styles, okay? So I'm going to put this. Now, my magic mat, which way did I have it? I forgot to pay attention. I didn't put my little piece of washi on the top so I can tell when to rotate my mats. And then here's a brand new, just got out of the packaging, clear cutting mat. I'm going to put that on top, and I'm thinking that's going to be enough of a sandwich, but I'm hoping it's not too thick, because you can get this too thick, but the machine will tell you if it's going to like it or not. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's too thick. The machine doesn't like it. So you know what? I'm going to take this out, and I'm just going to use, what I do is I have extra paper, cardstock. It's cardstock. And my old scraps, and that's what I use for my shims. You can use brand new one. I just like to use the old ones. Okay. And I don't want to put it over here on the cut side because I don't want it to get cut. So I'm going to put it underneath my magnet. Okay, so I'm going to line this all up, back up here again. Line this all up, back on the bottom of the mat. And here, like, this is just an old envelope, because I just wanted scrap paper, cardstock to use as shims. A lot of times, what you know, those 12 by 12 pieces of cardboard from your 12 by 12 paper pads, you can use those. I just cut them down. Okay, let's see. I think I have some right here. Yep, I sure do. I have one right here. But I think this is too big. Yeah, I need to cut that one down. I just had one that was already sort of cut down. See, here's some other pieces. That'll work. Actually, I think that would work right here. So that may be enough that I need for my shims. To cut that down. So let me cut this one down. And I'm just going to use that right here. Let me cut this off. I'll throw that part away. Put my scissors back over here. You know what, let's take this off. Let's see if this sandwich will work. Because what you have to do is you have to play with it. And what's easy, do yourself a huge favor, especially if it's a die cut that you really like, but it's got a lot of like intricate, like on, this is not a whole lot of intricacy, but the cattail one, look at that. See how much intricate it is? So you definitely want a lot of detail on that because it's got the small ones. Write down the sandwich and like which shims went with that on, like on the back of your backing, if you save your backing on that, so that way you'll know, okay, I'm using my Cuttlebug, or I use my Sizzix, or I use my whatever machine that you have, your die cut embossing machine, whatever it is that you have, and then write down what shims it was that it uses it for. That way you'll know exactly the right shims, and you don't spend a lot of time doing this. Okay, so let's get back. Put everything right back to where it was. That should work. But again, I don't know. This is my first time using the Magic Mat. I just got it. I'm trying to extend the life of mats is the reason why I got it. Because, you know, these mats are pretty pricey. They're good and they're definitely worth it, but they're pricey. Okay, that, whoop, look, it doesn't like it. Still too thick. So it's too thick. So, take this off. Take the magnetic mat off. I'm going to keep these two, but I'm going to get rid of this stuff. It was just too thick. Let's just get rid of all this extra stuff. But I'm going to keep this one, and I keep this one. Because I think those two may work, but again, and you can see the thickness of each one, because you know each piece of chipboard, this is just recycled cardboard from packaging. Look at that box of envelopes. That's where I got that from. But these are great size for your Cuttlebug. If you have a machine that does that. Let me go back here. Just make this as much level as possible. Let's get back to the magnetic mat. Let's put it right back on top. Make it level. Okay, now let's do this mat. And let's put it back to the machine. I just want to make sure that's in there so it does. Oh, it moved on me. Okay, let's see what happens now. Okay, nope, it's too thick. So I'm going to take off one of these shims. Still too thick. It didn't like it. I took one of each. Making it level, so make sure it's in here. Okay, so it's nice and level. Let's feed it through and let's see what it does. Now that's taking it, so that likes it. So we're going to move this over here so we know it doesn't like those two. And again, the thickness of your cardstock or your card paper, like if you're using glitter cardstock that's even thicker than regular cardstock, you may not need any shims whatsoever. Okay, so let's see what's happening. Okay, take off the mat. Alrighty. Okay, it looks like I cut it. And here's my dies. And of course, because of the washi tape that I had on there, just because I didn't want it to move, because I knew I was going to be feeding it through again. Sometimes I do the washi tape and sometimes I don't. It just depends. But I think with these new plates, I'm not going to have to. Not for a while because they're new. I don't want to get those mixed up because I want to know what's what. Okay, so here I am over here. I'm going to get back in frame in here. Okay, there is the bamboo. I wish, if somebody knows, will you please put in the comment section what those things are? Or if you've seen somebody use this die, I would love to see a video on how to use it properly. I've always just used this part. I've never even cut this part at all. I'm just taking my washi off of here because I'm going to run this through with another set of colors just to see. Okay, here's another set of the cattails. Let me get this washi off of here. And I recycle my washi until it's got no more stickums. Oops, be careful, especially with these delicate stuff, because you can rip it. Okay, get my little pokey tool and cut this. This is the no good part, the negative part of the die. And let's take this off. Let's do the reveal. Oh, look how pretty. And see how it cut it all out? And of course you've got some little inserts in here. You just get your little pokey tool and then take those off. But today's video was on my personal opinion of the magic mat. But see how it worked out? And of course cut those little extra pieces out, which I'll do that in a minute off camera. Okay, so let's do this other cattail. I love cattails in real life. They're so pretty. Made a couple of cards with them, and I did a scrapbook page. And the recipient really loved the page because she likes cattails. It reminded her of her mom when they would go to the lake. And I heard her tell her story about that. And so I put that in one of the photos with her and her mom when she was younger. So it was really special. And look at that. See how easy that was? Didn't even have to do any inserts. There's one right there, but I'll do that later. And then if you have your little brush, this is a die 2 brush, you just put it right there, and then all your stuff comes out. And you just throw that away. Okay, so let's save that. Let's do that because let's get back to the business at hand. Okay, so we know this cut out here. Move this one here. Smooth this out. So we know it cut that one. And sometimes you just have to peel it just a little bit. So we'll do that later. I'll do that off the camera. We know it did this one because these big leaves, it did it both ways. Okay, so we know that worked. And we know that it worked on this big one. Well, it did it on this first layer, but it didn't do it on the second layer. See that? It did do it on this first layer. So on the first layer, it worked great. The second layer, there's another issue here. So I will just run it through the machine and put it through. But now, because this is a comparison, let me get all my scrap stuff out of here. And I don't throw my scraps until I know all the little pieces are there, because some of these scraps I'm thinking are scraps are actually a piece that belonged to the die cut. So let's go ahead and do it with just these two, because I want to make a pretty of these. I'm not going to worry about these. I've got enough of these leaves. I don't want to do too many. Okay, get this out of the way. These are this is a magnet plate, so they are really sticking to it. But let's do that one. I don't want to do the other ones. Let's do that one in a green, because I do have a piece of green cardstock here. Okay, and let's do that in a green, and let's just see, just these two by itself, nothing else. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's turn this mat over. And let's feed it, we're going to feed it through the machine. I wish I had a way to move the camera around so you could see, but I can't. But you can hear me. You can hear it going. And you can see it was the same sandwich as the ones I just made, so with this being one piece of cardstock, it should cut just fine, hopefully. Okay, and that noise is standard. It's just the part where the mat ends on. Okay, look at that. Haven't even pulled it off yet. So, yep. My first impression was correct. This is, look at that. Perfect. Cut it all out. Now I'm just going to do my little pokers, and it did the embossing. I didn't have to use my embossing mat and run it through again. I could if I wanted to. Just make sure you leave it all together. And then you do that. Run it through your embossing machine, but I don't have to because it's already done it. And that's one of the good things about the Gemini, because of the pressure with the Gemini versus like a hand crank one. Because I have the Cuttlebug. I also have the diamond press one, the little mini one and stuff. But so my personal review, and then look, you didn't leave any impression or anything of the beaded up mat. But of course it is warped, so I'm going to have to put it through and run it through so it all gets flat again, and then make sure you're always rotating when you rotate. So you know what, let's do one with the glass mat, because this is a brand new mat. So where did I put that die? Oh, there it is. And then let's just move this down a little bit, because I'm going to keep the cardstock right where it was, but I'm not wasting my cardstock. I don't want to waste my cardstock. So let's just move this up a little bit. Okay, we'll do it that way. And we're just going to do this one here, because this is the cutting mat. This is the original Gemini cutting mat. Oh, I could see part of my die. I moved my paper up a little bit more than I should have. Normally I'm not this precise, but because it's camera and I'm doing a review is why I'm being so precise with all this. Normally I just slap it on there, put it on there, and stick it in there. Okay, now let's run it through. Okay, something happened, didn't go through. Let me see here. Okay, I don't know what I did wrong, because you're supposed to have your magnet. Okay, maybe it's the 2 shims. Maybe I'm not supposed to have that, because this is now using the actual Gemini plate. You're only supposed to use these 4 plates. I forget what the bottom one's called, and then the clear white one, the magnetic mat, and then your cutting mat. Okay, let me move that back up so it gets in there and it cuts. Let's make sure all this is lined up. You got a good sandwich. Okay, there's something wrong with my machine. I gotta put you on pause and find out what's going on. I'll bring you back. Okay, I'm back. Now, I definitely like this Magic Mac a lot better, because here is when I just got through. I will tell you this, practice with your shims and your placement on your mats, because according to the Gemini book that came with my Gemini, and I got this, when did I get this? 2017. That's how long I've had my Gemini. Okay, and there's my Gemini book. The sandwich you're supposed to have is your purple plate, which is a base cutting plate, your plastic shim, your magnetic shim, your die with the die cut face up, your cardstock paper, whatever it is that you're using, and then your clear cutting mat. When I did exactly like this says, this is my results. it didn't cut it all out. Okay, and it definitely didn't emboss it all out. Okay, but you can see, don't pay attention to the moving part, because I put it through the machine like 4 or 5 different times. I did different shims. I did one with 1 shim, one with 2 shims. I just played around till I got it, and I didn't get it done. But then I took away the plastic cutting mat, the new one I just bought, and I did the exact same thing. So here's my purple, my it's called, what do you call this? They call it the base cutting mat, which is a purple one, the base cutting plate. Then you do your plastic shim, which there's a plastic shim, and then here's my brand new magnetic shim, die cut up, cardstock on top. Okay, this is where it was, and then I put my magic mat on top. As you can see, there's where the cuts are at. And yes, it is warping, but you can put some, you can actually put some heat to it and warp it back down, but I'm not going to worry about it because it's just part of die cutting. But look at that. Look what it did. It did cut it all out. See that? Through one pass. And there are no additional shims on here. So for me, this sandwich, and again, these dies, with these dies, are, as far as I could tell, take a look, they're pretty much exact same thickness, okay? So again, some of these dies are thicker. The metal is a lot different than the other one, so that's another thing you have to kind of keep in mind in. But most of the time, at least in my experience, since I've had my Cuttlebug, my Gemini, this is my only format that I use. This is the format that I use every time that I am doing my die cuts. Oh, where did I put my, here it is. See, here's my clear mat, and you can see there's where the cut in there, where it's got cut, which was I was trying to avoid. That's why I got the magic mat. Okay. So for me, I am definitely positive. This is a thumbs up for the magic mat. It's doing exactly what it says, and it's going to save me on having to purchase these very expensive cutting mats. I'm still going to purchase them because you just don't know what's going to happen. And I'm going to do so again. Like I said, I just got this, so I haven't done a whole lot of research on how to unwarp these mats. I've seen a couple of them, but I've never really sat down and did it and detailed it. But I will be doing more homework on this. But as far as I'm concerned, I think this is a great buy. And depending on where you get them, I know some retailers are selling this. It just depends. But this one is from scrapbook.com. That's where I got mine at. And I got the small one. I got this big one, and I got the small one that's made for the Cuttlebug and the smaller die cut machines. But I wanted to practice with this because I knew I had to get these out by tomorrow morning. So I go, you know what? Let me just do a video. Let's do a review, and let's just see what my first impression is. Okay, and I'm more than likely will be doing a follow-up review just to see how it is. But my personal opinion is this is definitely worth the money, and it is going to save you on your cutting plates. And then I just have to remember, rotate it, turn it around, rotate it, turn it around, rotate it, turn it around, rotate it. Try to do this at least every second or third cut that you make. Not second or third day, the second or third cut that you make. And that evens out the entire mat, so you don't have a lot of this warping. But on my other old ones, I knew exactly where these came from, because, in fact, I can show you. Here's my old mat. That was my cutting mat. So I had it here. And then I had this on top. And look, when it goes to the machine, there's exactly where the dimple is. When the machine, the blades and the rollers put the pressure on, that it went through. And there's that piece. You know, and you can definitely see it. But you know what? These are going to go in the garbage. And oh, I did want to show you this. That I was thinking, well, is there a difference in the thickness of the cutting mats from the Gemini? And look, you can see for yourself. it does not look like there's any kind of thickness whatsoever. And if I put my ruler on this thing, okay, nope for that one. Nope, it's exactly the same width. So they're exactly the same. But again, I don't know. It could be different material. I don't know what's going on, but I'm definitely not going to be using this because I'm going to save this. I'm going to use it if I needed an extra shim, like when I'm doing extra delicates. I'll put this underneath. That way I don't have any cutting marks on here. And I definitely more than likely will be using this when I put it on top. So that way my blades, my rollers go smooth and even instead of on the the magic mat itself. Okay, thank you so much for watching. We catch you in the next video. Don't forget to hit like, comment, and share. Take care. Bye-bye. Hey, I'm back. Okay, now I'm going to be doing the review of the little mat. This one is, oops. Let me get my readers in here. And then I'm going to show you a tip at the end of this video on the magic mat that I learned. But I will tell you to do a lot of research and you have to do a lot of practice to find the right sandwich for your machine. Okay, and then because the machines are made by the manufacturer, each machine is different. A bunch of them have a sweet spot on your plates where it actually cuts, the sweet spots where it actually cuts better than the other part. And I don't know why it does that, but a lot of people say that. That's the way it is. And you can see here's my Cuttlebug. Now we're doing the Cuttlebug. And here's my C plate, my B plate, a metal shim, another B plate, and then my A plate. It's really hard to get this broken and cracked, but I have seen one video where a person was using it and it broke right on live, right on when she was doing her video, and she left it in the video, which I thought was really good of her to do that. And so I just wanted to let you know, you still have to be careful with these because this could break, you know. So, and I know you can't really, they don't make them anymore, and you know, it's still a great machine, so I'm going to continue using mine, but thank goodness, way before we found out that they were going to discontinue this machine, I went ahead and ordered an extra set of all of these plates, including the A plate. So I have 2 extra sets of all these plates and here, and I do have my embossing mat, but I don't know where it is right now, but I'll find it. I kind of know where it is, but I hardly ever use it when I'm embossing. I just really don't need to. Okay, so anyway, let's get back to the subject at hand. So here is the magic mat. And this one is, does it say what size this one is? It doesn't say. But see here, it fits perfectly right here on the Cuttlebug mats. And if I remember, I'll go ahead and put some extra links in the description box. And then just little tips that you get when you watch it. And there's, of course, different videos, which I've seen them all. Yeah, I actually wrote everything down. Here's my piece of paper. The best sandwich mat for everything. Of course, like usual. I don't know where it went, but basically what it is the magic mat replaces one of your cutting mats. That's pretty much the gist of it. Okay, so we're going to do some die cutting. So I got my A plate, got my B plate. Okay, and I got my metal shim. Got a piece. This one I'm just using paper. And then here's my 2 dies, because I like to go ahead and do 2 cuts at one time. Actually, I want to do it this other way. I don't like to cut into my metal die if I don't have to. Oop, there's another die. Okay. And when I'm doing a lot of cuts, I don't take out all the little bitty bits and pieces. I don't waste my time on that when I'm doing a bunch of cutting. I'm just saving myself a lot of time. So there's my other B plate, my cutting plate. And I'm just going to leave it just where it is. And then you're supposed to be able to put your mat on top. And let's see if that's a good cut. I really don't know. We'll see. Okay, well, it's going in. But there's no pressure, so it's going to need some shims. But I'm going to go ahead and put a B plate, and let's see if a B plate will be enough. Or maybe too much. Okay, too much. The B plate is too much. Okay. I'm going to go ahead because this is wobbling on me. So I'm going to tape this down. Just going to get myself washi. I have some little notebooks, 3-ring binders right here on my desk. And I like to just put my washi there. Because I recycle my washi until there's no more sticky on it. Okay, let's do this again. Let's get some shims. Where's my other shims that I just had? I'm trying to rearrange and move myself from the other video. I can't see where I put. Oh, here they are. Where did I put these other shims? See, these are just other cardboard shims that I just have. Okay, so let's put these in here. I'm going to put this underneath the B plate. Let's see if that makes a difference. Okay. And because this is a really close fit, you do have to make sure that you're nice and snug on your sandwich. Okay, magic mat. I'm going to see if this works without the top plate. Yeah, but there's no pressure whatsoever. And I know the two of these didn't work before. You know what? I'm going to take off the metal plate. Here is my shims, my B plate, and my magic mat. Let me try this other B plate. Let's see if that'll work. Okay, no, still not going through. Okay, you know, I'm going to pause this and I'm going to figure this out. Then I'll show you right in the midstream as it's working. Okay, I found the perfect sandwich. I did have to experiment with it. But as you can see, I'm rolling it through. Now I'm going backwards. And because I'm experimenting, keep a piece of pen and a paper handy so you can write down what is working. And then you can try it again, and that way you'll know. So on this particular platform, it took the platform A, the 2 shims, the magic mat, the die, the paper, and then a C plate. I was watching a couple of videos and they said I did the B plate, but I haven't, as you can see, it didn't work. And so here is, let me move this out of the way. So here's my A plate. Here is my 2 shims. I did do my metal mat. Here's the magic mat. And then, and also don't forget, this was paper, not cardstock. So we're going to do a different measurement for the cardstock because you know that's different. And I'll bring you back on that one in just a second. I'm going to do the reveal here for you on this one, just to show you whenever you do with paper, make sure you work slowly because it is easy to cut because this is, again, paper, not cardstock. And then just release your cut. So there's that. And of course, you can see how when you turn it around, there's the little pieces that you just pop right out. Okay, and I'm just going to do that off camera. You don't need to see me do that. That's just a little time consuming. That's just part of die cutting when you're doing paper. So the same thing over here with this one. I'm just getting my little pokey tool and take it out. I'm being careful with this. Now let's do some cardstock. Okay, those are cattails. I want to use this kind of a yellow color. I'm only going to do one for right now for the sake of the video, that's all. Okay, same sandwich, same material. I learned this, I did have to help it feed it. I'm just using my chest to force it through. And you don't have to struggle just a little bit, not a whole lot. And I am just running it back and forth just to make sure that it does cut. I heard it go crinkle, crinkle, crinkle. You can hear that it did cut, but. And there you go, you see, but look at that. It did not do it right in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this around. Remember I said there's always a sweet spot on your machine? So I'm going to move this over just a tad and run it through again and see what it does that time. Okay, just help it out a little bit. Okay. It's a little tight, but it's not like overly hard to turn. Because remember, don't turn it. If it's too hard to turn, don't turn it. It's not going to work because you can break your machine. You'll break the rollers in there. Sometimes you can fix it. There's a lot of YouTubes on showing how to fix it. Yep, that did a lot better. It still didn't do very well. Didn't cut all the way through. I don't feel that, so I'm going to run it through again. I'm going to move it around. I'm going to do it this way this time. I'm going to angle this. Let me cut this off. And this paper that I'm using is nothing but my scraps. These are just scraps, so this is a good way for you to use your scraps up. So let's move it this way, and let's see what it does. Now this is my third cut. Help this along. Okay. Just move that out of the way. Let's see how it did. Okay, I'm a lot better. Still not as great as just these, but I'm just going to do a sample, and I'm going to hold it. I'm going to remove this washi right over here. I'm still... Okay, this did work a lot better, and look at that. See how it cut a whole much better? But I can still see right here is not totally cut. So I'm going to put this through again, but I'm going to put it in a different spot. And I will tell you with my experience with this, because I use my Cuttlebug quite a lot, as you can tell from my very loved mats, is every die does have its sweet spot. I don't know why, and I guess it's just because of the material that all the dies are made out of, and okay, why is this not working? Oh, it's not level, it's not all the same. Okay. There we go. Okay, I'm not going to force that because I'm not going to break my machine. That has got too many, that's too many shims. Really, it's not too many shims, it's just that I just rearranged this in a different spot. So let's go back to put it underneath the mat. So I took that one shim out, and it's just a piece of cardboard shim. Let's put it through again. Let's help it. Okay, here you get a heating tool and you put it on your mat, and that helps take all the ridges and ruffles off. You can feel the heat on there. Flip it around, don't forget to do the other side. And that helps get all the ridges and the curving off the mat itself. Okay? And then there is where... Okay, sorry about that. My battery in the camera went out. This is my first video with my new camera. I got that for my birthday. But anyway, I just wanted to show you, by putting your heating tool, your embossing heating tool on your mat, it smooths out the ridges. No, this one didn't totally smooth it out. I got to do some more, but I didn't want to get it too hot because I wasn't too sure how much of that heat I could put on here. And I'm just going to do a little bit more on that. But as you can see, it's definitely not near as warped as it was earlier, which is good. So I would say this is a definite thumbs up for the Magic Mat. And here's the big one. Oops, let me turn this around so y'all can see that. And then here is the little one. And as you can see, it took all the blunts. I mean, I did it. You know, I only did 2 on this one, 3 on this one, 3 cuts on this one. And it worked out just fine. So I really say this is a very good product, definitely worth your money. And I thank you so much for watching. We catch you in the next video. Don't forget to hit like, comment, and share. Take care now. Bye-bye.